Good morning, my dear fellow Hasidim. Yitzhak David Smith here. And everyone's asking the question, what does the Rebbe want from us at this time? What would the Rebbe be saying to do at a time when our shuls are locked and the schools are locked, unfortunately? And when the first Shabbos came that we were not able to daven in a shul because the shuls were locked, I gathered my family together, gathered my children together, and I said to them, this is what the Rebbe meant about Bais, Maale, Seforim. Because we are now see that a time came that there's no 770 for us to daven in, Rahman al-Itzlan. There's no Chabad houses to daven in. Everything is closed. There's no shuls to daven in. And what the Rebbe wants is that we should have a Bais, Maale, Seforim. And I'd like to suggest that if you look carefully in the Sichos on the Rebbe, while it's true that the Rebbe wants us to have a Bais, Maale, Seforim because this is the inyan of Hafatzas Maayanis, and it's necessary because it fills the house with the Ruach HaTorah and the Erev Torah, and we are meant to open this forum and to learn this forum, and that's for our own benefit and the benefit of our families and our communities. But I'd like to suggest that the Rebbe also has an intention that there should be an unlimited number of operating Chabad houses that are full of Seforim. That each Chabad house is supposed to be a 770 and each Jewish home is supposed to be a Chabad house. And that's supposed to be accomplished through Bais, Maale, Seforim. Why is that necessary? Because there could come a time, God forbid, when not everyone is able to get together. We're not able to get to 770. We're not able to get to our Chabad houses. And the only way to continue to spread Yiddishkeit is if each home is full of the Seforim of Yiddishkeit, the Seforim of Torah and the Seforim of Chassidus. This is the only way it's able to accomplish it because we have in each one of these places, and not only are we meant to be a pale replica of 770 or a Chabad house, but we're meant to be the maayan hamisgaber, the Rebbe says. Each one of these locations, each one of these homes is meant to be a maayan hamisgaber that itself becomes the flowing source of the living waters of Torah. This is what the Rebbe wants our houses to be filled with Seforim for. He wants every house to be every Chabad house to be a 770, every home to be a Chabad house, that it should become a source of teaching for ourselves and for everybody around us, both by the Yidden to teach them Torah mitzvahs and by the non-Jews to teach them the Sheva mitzvahs B'nai Noach. And we can see now in this time the Rebbe's foresight and his call that we should fill our houses with Seforim, that we will not be stuck in a place where we're now dependent on others to get us the information we need. We have it with the Seforim that we have, and we are meant to fill our houses with Seforim. Now someone's going to say to us in response, well, one second, we have Eitzer Chochma, we have different electronic sources, we have online sources for Torah, and the answer is, number one, we don't have those on Shabbos. We don't have those on Yom Tov. We have whatever we have in terms of printed Seforim. But there's another point to consider. We see tremendous upheaval, and Hashem should guard this entire world from any form of upheaval. But what we see is in that places of the world where there's greater and greater instability, electricity becomes a luxury. It's not running consistently. There are hours when they don't turn on the electricity. Whatever you have in electronic form is unavailable to you when the government decides not to provide electricity, or there's a disturbance with some sort of active sabotage, or the electricity company stops functioning. We take it for granted in this country, but we have to remember that nothing can be taken for granted. What we have to do is to have this forum in our houses. That's Bais, Maale, Seforim. We are not dependent on anyone else, the goodwill of the government or the goodwill of the electrical companies, or the goodwills of the weather and whether the electricity is flowing. In addition, if you follow carefully what's going on in the world, there's greater and greater pressure to ban books that are offensive to people. And in fact, Amazon recently took offline a book that many people would consider very, very offensive. And they took that and said that this will no longer be sold on Amazon. My friends, there's plenty of things that can be found in many books and many Seforim that would be offensive to somebody somewhere. And we have to make sure that we are not dependent on in the future getting those Seforim. We have to make sure that we have those Seforim in our houses now. Now we see today that in the current pandemic of fear, that people are panicking and they're running to the stores to buy toilet paper. They're running to the stores to buy other things because they think that that's what they need. And I'm not in any way making light of those people, because the fear is something that has overtaken them, and we see that there are shortages sometimes. But what are we meant to be doing? The Rebbe wants us to go and make a run on the Seforim stores, to buy every single sefer that's in any store should be purchased and put in your home. It should be put in your home, and every room should be full of Seforim. Bais, Maale, Seforim is not just a token sefer in each room. It means the house is full of Seforim. And not only are you meant to buy the Seforim, but we should be printing new Seforim. We should be requesting reprints of old Seforim. We should be filling our houses with Seforim. We should be writing new Chiddushei Torah in order to fill the world with more Torah and bring about the Shleimus of Torah. So this, then, I would like to suggest, is the call of the hour. The Bais Maale Seforim, the mitzvah Bais Maale Seforim, means that every house is a 770, every Chabad house is a 770, every house is a Chabad house, full of Seforim, ready to be used and actually being used. And then that is going to bring that into the world. And while the Rebbe, of course, wants us to buy as Maale Seforim, we have to remember that there's certain books that are necessary for a person to have, even that have important information on how to take care of your family, how to, certain principles of life that are necessary to have in our homes, even if they're not printed from a Torah book publishing company. And you have to judge for yourself and understand with your own mishpia what Seforim are important, but those Seforim are important to have also. How to take care of your family medically, how to be able to live and thrive in any type of situation. These are the types of books that a person must remember, that whatever's true, we need to have it in our hands. We cannot rely on other people to have those books. We cannot rely on the goodwill of Google to continue to provide these books that they've scanned, that they'll be available as long as Google decides that they want to make them available. Whatever is necessary, whatever you believe is a true book that has information that's important to know, it's vital to have it in a physical copy. Kindle is not enough. And all these type of modern technologies are not enough, because you're then relying on other people to have that true information available for you when you need to learn it, and when you need to teach it, when you need to access it to know what to do. And so therefore, I want to suggest that the mitzvah Bais Maale Seforim, we, instead of running to the stores to stockpile on toilet paper, should be running to the stores to stockpile on the books of Torah. Books that contain true things are the books that we should be stockpiling, and then we should be opening them and using them so that the covers start to fall off from the tremendous amount of use. And that we will teach our neighbors, we will teach the other Yidden, and we will teach the non-Jews the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, and bring a true healing to the world. This is the mitzvah Bais Maale Seforim. It's not just to make the shelves look pretty. It's to make the shelves sing out with the words of Torah and the light of Torah, and that it should spread throughout your entire neighborhood, and it should spread out your entire city wherever you are, because you can see now that you are the 770 in that place. Wherever you are the Chabad house in that place, and this is our job. The Rebbe has tremendous confidence and belief in each one of us, that this is something we're able to carry out and to be able to spread the Torah. And Torah says Chassidus, Ad she'afutza ma'anesecha chutza, means that every place is going to be filled with the Seforim, and the Seforim will be learned and they will be taught until we come to a point that we don't need teachers anymore, because when Mashiach comes, we'll all learn directly from the Eibishter. And therefore, I want to bench everybody that they should be successful in filling their houses with Seforim. They should be successful in emptying the shelves of every single Jewish book publisher, and every single bookstore now should have its shelves emptied. And the demand should be to print more Seforim and get it into every single house, and send gifts to your friends and the people that don't yet have the Seforim. Send them as gifts and encourage people to buy Seforim. And we should be zeicha that we'll have the actual gula hamitis shlema takev and biyad mamish, that this will be fulfilling the iyud of the keshafutza manesecha chutza, that the chutza, that there will be no ein tachton lamata amena, that every corner of the world will be filled with Torah and Chassidus. This should be fulfilled now with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu takev and biyad mamish.